It's Chris Fade and Caroline Stanbury's Not So Epic podcast.
Brought to you by NMC Healthcare and Cosmesurge. Head to cosmesurge.com.
We're back.
Yeah.
Chris Fade and Caroline Stanbury's Not So Epic podcast. You're not wearing any shoes.
Thanks, Chris. I just asked if we could see that.
Oh, you were trying to pretend. Well, I'm going to let everyone know. You're like a newsreader. You know, they don't wear pants.
Normally, I don't wear pants for this podcast, but you told me that I needed to put some on.
Yeah, come on. Put it on.
I was going for the ratings. Chris just wants me to cover up.
Hold on, I'm moving stuff around. I just bought something off Amazon. I need it.
Oh my God. He will buy any gimmick.
I'm a gadget man.
Like a gadget, but like the most useless ones ever. A ring that he can talk to. His trainers, he can speak. He doesn't even know what they do yet. But
No, I don't know.
Anyway,
it's a
doesn't matter.
smart ring. This is supposedly I can talk with it. So hello, but I don't think. I think I got.
Such a shame it's not on a smart person.
You know those ads that you get on Instagram, like people selling you stuff on Instagram.
Yeah.
Do not buy it.
No, because you buy it all.
I bought this.
Yeah.
It doesn't do what it said it did. I bought a pair of shoes. They never came.
Chris, everybody knows already. You don't need
What's
to tell
that, Juju?
people.
Of course. You go, is
Yeah.
that a common thing?
Yes, of course.
Oh,
Chris.
everyone knows that in this room.
Everybody.
Wow.
They're never good. Anyway,
we're back.
Yes, we're back. Today's podcast is about workplace relations.
Yeah, we got a lot of messages on this one. We keep telling you to message us, slide up in our DMs. It's Chris and Caroline's on Instagram, Chris and Caroline on Instagram. If you've got us on YouTube or any other major sort of platforms to listen to the podcast, thank you so much. If you're watching us on YouTube, hello.
I watched a couple of hours on YouTube. I fidget like anything, by the way. I cannot sit still. I've just realised.
Really?
It's like
No, I
I've got
think you're
ants in my
fine.
pants.
At least you're holding the microphone in your mouth. Usually it's like, hi, I'm Caroline Stanbury.
I can't help it. I need to use my hands.
Office relationships.
Yes.
And I'm going to ask you this question for real. Have you ever had a job?
I'm going to pretend that was a sincere question and that was out of concern and love for me and not out of like...
Well, I don't know. I know that you've done the reality TV shows and you've done all that and you...
What do you mean? Of course I've had a job.
But like before all that, what did you have?
Okay, well, I have when I got out of school...
I just remember. What did I do? Oh, yes.
You don't understand, Chris. I have the world's worst memory.
Okay.
I live in my own little bubble, and that's how I get by in life, and I like myself in there.
That's cool.
So you're bursting it right now, I'd have to think. So I did. My first job, I worked once in a nightclub as like one of those shot girls. Loved it. I mean, it wasn't...
One of the what? Shot girls?
Shots.
So you just give shots to people?
Oh, yeah. And
Parent-
took a few myself.
Parents must have been proud?
So proud. They were furious. And then they took me out of that and I went to work with my mum in her shop, but I always crawled in hungover. It doesn't really work.
What was her shop?
She had a cashmere store on Bond Street in London.
Nice, okay.
Yeah. Do you know what cashmere is, Chris? I'm sure you don't know polyester and 90%
I want to
wool.
say it's a nice shawl, right? And we letting the girls wear cashmere.
No, it's sweaters too, Chris.
Sweaters, cashmere.
How did we end up together?
Is it from Pakistan?
It's like the biggest
Is
joke.
it Pakistan, cashmere?
I
You don't know.
No, I have no idea where
You're
it's
like,
from.
no, it's
just I
British
wear
from
it.
Bond Street.
It's Scottish cashmere.
It's not
Scottish.
Scotland. Cashmere comes from
It is
Scotland.
the Scottish cashmere. But wait, can someone get me a more refined host to do this with that would understand my journey?
Cashmere.
I can't believe it.
According to Wikipedia, Niles Hollowell-Dahr, better known by his stage name Kashmir, is an American musician, record producer, and DJ from...
Google knows everything.
Yeah,
It's
everything.
Okay, cool. All right.
So anyway, that was another job. I worked for Manhattan Lofts.
Manhattan
Lofts.
What's that?
It was like the first ever lofts company in London, like really chic lofts. I used to sell those. So like I basically got that was the job I told you that I got when I dropped the pen and had to pick it up without bending my legs. Got it right away.
Was the guy, was it a male or female interviewing you?
Always men.
And he said, and you dropped the pen on purpose?
Of course.
And then you picked it up without
Of
bending
course.
your knees. And that's how you got, oh my gosh, us men, we're pathetic. We fell for that. That is horrible.
I sold so many units too.
So what, you were like in real estate?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I was his secretary, but then I worked my way up a little bit, and he put me in sales as well. I was
I'm
really
sure
good.
you worked your way up.
Yeah. No, not like that, Chris. I have never had to sleep my way to the top.
That's good.
Ever.
I have.
Surprised me. He works for a Russian man, people.
Yeah. It was hard. Early on in the career. But anyway, yeah, continue. So you did the real estate,
real estate.
You've never had to sleep your way to the top. Because
Not yet. I worked for Chris. I worked for one of the Gettys. I worked for
one of the Gettys.
Yeah, Getty family.
Is Getty Images, is that a family?
Well, Getty, the family name, is like a lot of things, Chris.
But
It's not just Getty Images. Everything.
Is that associated with the family?
I don't know if Getty Images is
Okay,
actually.
all right. I just didn't know.
Maybe.
The only Getty I know is Getty Images. I
But
just
like,
wanted to know.
you know, loads of things. It's like
Okay,
one of the
cool.
biggest families in the world.
Okay.
And then I worked with, who else have I worked with? Oh, I worked for this guy for a long time, actually, Bruce, who was hilarious. He used to like call me up in the middle of the night and ask me to dial down and get him, like he'd be in New York and I'd be in England. And he'd call me up and ask me to get a drink delivered to him. I'm like, just dial 9.
What?
It's so much cheaper. Anyway, yes, I've had loads of jobs. And then I started my own businesses. Then I became a stylist, a really big one.
you're
Then I
entering
built
this-
a company.
Okay,
I know, because you're talking like I've literally been born with a super...
I wanted to know, like, if you actually had like like you had to walk into an office and there were people around.
Well, then I had my
you.
own office and I had like, you know, however many employees, quite a lot, so, you know, of female employees for years and years and years. And for 7 years I built that. And
What was that business?
it was online luxury. We sold everything from like, I think, handbags for like $120,000 to watches for like, you know, $60,000, $70,000. I made one-off pieces for some of the richest people in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, you would not have been my client, Chris.
You don't know what I'm sitting on.
I think I do know.
No, you don't
All right,
know. What do you
fine.
think? What do you think's in the account?
I don't know. I don't really think about it that much. You know what? I love you, poor or rich. He's actually Mr. Moneybags. I've got to be honest. Yeah, you're doing quite well.
We're doing all right.
Doing all right.
Working relationships. In some companies, in Dubai, for example, you were not allowed to have... Hold on. She's gone. That's my daughter, right?
Yeah.
My daughter's running in and out of this
Not
place.
really sure she should be here for this.
Yeah. Get away. She's out. Anyway, she's gone, my daughter.
Right.
There are rules and regulations, and I know, for example, our company, they don't want, if you're in a relationship, how do I say this? They don't want you to start a relationship in the workplace.
I mean, but sometimes it's hard. That's the only place you go.
It is really hard. But
Please don't try and sleep with me.
I won't. I promise. I
Just-
promise.
just don't.
But I can I say I agree with workplaces that say that, because we had a couple working with us many years ago, and one of them got fired. So we not only lost one person,
You lost 2.
his wife then had to leave as well because they were leaving the country. So you lose 2 people from it, and it's not an easy thing for an organisation. So that's obviously why they do it.
You
But-
need to come down to my gym. It's like bunnies.
Really?
Oh my God, everyone's at it. I get the stories every day. I'm not quite sure where, but they're at it.
There's a saying in Australia where they say, "Don't screw the crew."
Don't screw the crew.
Don't screw the crew. And I totally agree with that. I think once you take relationships, no matter how long, how short, or whatever they are, I think it really does jeopardize the working environment. And once you've been sort of like personal and, you know, physical with someone in the workplace, it totally changes the dynamics.
I think they're all independent contractors. That's the problem. And there's a lot of testosterone in there.
Are you talking about the gym still?
Yeah.
I'm talking just in general.
Oh, in general, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not-
Then there was, what about the one where they say, you know, ski instructors? Women on holiday at ski instructors. My mother always said to me, remember, they don't travel well.
Who? Ski instructors?
They do not travel well. They always look great on the mountain. And you take them off the mountain, bring them into your world, and you're like, no, we need to get them back on the
Ski
mountain.
instructor. I'm not a skier. I don't know how to ski, so I don't know that whole vibe. But
Oh, it's hot. You go
Is
learn
it?
ski. You know, yeah. Every
Oh, yeah.
girl has a fancy about their ski instructor. At some
Really?
point. Yeah.
You look good. I find it very hard to look good in ski gear. It's like
I can't really imagine you in ski gear. I've got to be honest.
I feel like I'm the Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. I'm here, ladies.
No, it's not just any man in ski clothes. It has to be the instructor because he
Okay.
knows what he's doing.
Okay.
You know, he's skilled. He's hot. You can see him slide down the mountain. You're like, okay, I can live with him for the rest of my life. And
Have
then
you-
you're like,
have you-
no, I can't. I really can't.
No, don't.
No.
Have you been in a relationship with anyone that you've worked with ever?
I'm trying to think. I've worked with no. No, I've never. What do they call it? Shit on your own doorstep.
Which I think is really important. I think if you were in the position right now where you're doing it, close it up or get out or quit or do something, because it is not a good place to be in.
Melissa has.
Uh-oh. Melissa is here. Melissa, are you ready for the camera? You're not going on the camera. Let's give her a mic. Well, you can't say that. We can just take your audio. That's fine. We're gonna put a Just let me do. Give me the mic. No. I want to hear from her. But what we're gonna do here, because she doesn't want to be on the microphone. She really doesn't want to do this. Well, unfortunately, she's really saying no. No, we're gonna do this. We're just gonna put a picture in the bottom right-hand corner of a face of Melissa, and then we'll just use her voice. Just turning on this. This is all live as we do it right now. Our podcast.
Melissa and her whole work.
That's ready. That's ready. Thank you. So hi, Melissa. Pictures on the web on the page here. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome to the podcast once again, Mel.
Tell us your experience.
Tell us you've been in a relationship with a person that you've worked with.
Well, not a relationship. So.
She's had a relationship.
Actually wet myself.
Part of that one.
Caroline settle. She's going to wet herself really.
Relation.
I've got loose pelvic floor after all these children.
Yeah.
A weak pelvic floor. Oh, there's a dog. Sorry, a dog's just appeared. All right, sit here, Coco. Just relax. There you go. Melissa?
Yeah. I hate my
To
life.
wet this sofa.
Just tell me what happened and how it all happened.
So, I worked. I'm just going to say it was my first and only my company before Caroline here. I worked in a very.
To go back now.
Yeah. Are you guys still employing? Because hit me up. But basically, a very male-dominated environment. I think I was the only female there, and a lot of hot guys. And then you go for work nights out, and
It happens all the time.
but the problem with my company is that the 3 directors were young, so everyone was mates.
So everybody knew.
So I'd come back. I considered quitting
Because you just
after it
went
happened
morning.
because someone sent me a screenshot of me snogging this guy, at Barasti.
And you worked with him.
Yeah. So I worked. Yes, I did. Yeah. So that we all worked together. Everyone was mates. Everyone knew about it.
So when you go back to work on the Monday or the whatever it
Tried
is,
to quit.
Yeah, well, I really wanted, I honestly considered quitting, and then I was like, maybe just going to call in sick, but then it just prolongs it, and then
but what about him? It's interesting because you only think about
guys don't care.
Yeah, the guys don't care. The guys are like, yo, did you see what I did on the weekend?
They're just like,
yeah,
wait.
but
And then
I'm
they're
a
like,
girl.
Melissa.
But I don't think it should be like that. Like I think you should just own it. Like you could have owned it and gone,
Well,
yeah.
Well, she did. She didn't.
But
leave.
I did. I was sort of just like, whenever anyone asked me about it, I'd be like, shut up. But one of the directors, I was at a
Never
meeting with
get
them, and he'd be like,
to
so
these
how's
laws.
insert name doing? And that's just being in, having a, and also, ultimately, I was the HR manager.
Oh, you're the HR manager. Wow, that's horrible. So you can't go
that was
to HR.
Just horrendous.
I just need to complain about myself.
Yeah.
I think, but it's really bad about was it one of the guys? Like, was it one of the
Oh
owners?
yeah, our company was in the UK. That would just never happen. It would never happen that someone would say a joke like that or anything. But just the way it was a real estate company as well. So really laddie guys, like all
Oh my God,
proper
it's like
banter,
all
banter.
those.
You had to take the banter there. But it's just for me, who's like so private about things like that. Well, generally, well, apparently I'm not anymore.
You're on the podcast.
Just
She's
humiliating.
on the podcast.
No, we're gonna have to change the name
No.
soon.
Yes.
Here's from Caroline. And Melissa.
Melissa's tragic life.
No.
Let's all laugh at me.
Not at all.
No, I laugh at me. So it's
Do you
fine.
regret doing it with the?
Yeah, I regret that. It became funny, because it wasn't just one guy. There was a couple of guys that had come through the door that,
From the same company.
Yeah.
What are you doing that for?
It was just like,
Why not? The pool's small.
yeah, but, just don't
It's much easier.
don't shit where you eat, I think is the...
Oh
Oh my
Is
God,
it?
I went out with
thing here.
Melissa the other night. No joke. She took me to this place. Oh my God. I said to you, I would rather remain single for the rest of my days.
Was it rock bottom?
No, oh my God,
It
I
was
would never go
called
there.
the Tree House.
I don't know.
Oh my
It's
God.
a nice
It's not- there's
bar
nice
usually,
nothing.
but the after party
I
was...
walked in and there was a whole load of...
Butters.
Oh, that's one thing about, and if you don't live in Dubai and you're listening to us, like Dubai is beautiful, sexy, classy, just everything you could imagine in one of the most amazing cities. However, there are some elements and there's some places
Yeah.
which are very British, Australian, South African, I'm Aussie, South African, it's just
It was
get
felt
some
very
drinks
British.
into them, and it just turns into it's one of the reasons why I left Australia, because there's so many pubs in Australia that you just get in there, it's like, hey, I love that one. Oh. And when I sense some of that in Dubai, which I think this is what you would have sensed when you walked into one of Melissa's establishments that she likes to.
No, it's not my establishment. I've never actually even been to that after party, but I was with a group of people. We'd been at a nice brunch, Morimoto,
Oh,
and
please, you ended up with midgets in another bar.
yeah. Okay, we went to Miyagi's ultimately.
Little people.
I said, yeah, sorry, little
people.
Little people.
Thank you.
She's just trying. She was meant to come and join me and Lindsay.
Yeah.
She went to Miyagi's instead, so I'm kind of feeling a vibe here, Melissa.
So, if you could talk to your past self,
Yeah.
would you still have done everything that you did?
You know what? I don't regret anything. I've done a lot of stupid stuff in life, I suppose, but it's all kind of got me to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm wiser now.
She's
We
working
didn't do
for
that
me
again.
now, and we're definitely not going to have relations.
Live and learn.
And also, it gave me just a bit of a thicker skin as well, because I was like, sometimes you've just got to own it and be like, okay, well, whatever, you can
Sense of
laugh at me, but
humour. It's
I'll
funny.
laugh about it too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, live and learn. I mean, if it was, again, I guess because I'm a father now, and I just think of my girls, who are, you know what, the girls are actually, Nushi, Kiki, come here for a second, just real quickly, because I'm going to send you out of this room. I don't want you here for this conversation. Just sit here for a second this side. Whenever you girls start working one day, you're not allowed to have a boyfriend until the age of 45, okay? Okay?
It's what's happening to me.
Okay? 45,
Oh
okay?
my God, did you hear Melissa?
Yeah, what did Melissa
She
just
said
say?
that's exactly what's happening to me.
Melissa's like, oh, I'm doing the same life as you girls are going to be.
Unfortunately, it's self-imposed.
All right. There it is.
this point.
That's it. I love you.
Bye bye, girls.
All right, upstairs.
Up you go.
Can you go into that room over there? I don't want you to hearing what Auntie Caroline and I'm saying right now, okay?
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
So
we got rid of him. Well, one of
they're
them's still
back.
here. Get it.
I
Okay.
always felt, I don't know why I didn't. Well, first of all, everybody, when I had a bigger company, they were all women.
Yeah.
And the only men I employed were in the shipping department. So I don't think they could have taken me on, frankly. Also, I was married.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, yes, I forgot about that. Very good point.
Wow.
And before that, no, because I knew you'd have to see them again.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing. The next day, one of my first radio stations that I worked for in Sydney, Australia, there was a person that used to work in the organisation.
Hot girl.
Yeah, she was so attractive, and I was so into her. And then the moment came when.
You were going to do it.
Can I tell you? It was like the powers above. I was driving home. It was about midnight, and I was in Sydney, and I was just driving home. I forget where I was coming home from, and I was living on my own in a studio apartment in the city. And as I got to a pedestrian crossing, I see this woman just walk across the street and stumble, and get back up. And I open the door, and I'm like, "You need any help?" It ends up being the girl from my work. And I said, Sarah, I've changed the name, Sarah,
How
what
clever
are you
of
doing? Are
you.
you all right? She's like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, what are you doing here? I've had a big night. I'm just walking home. And I'm like, oh my gosh, let me give you a lift home. So I gave her a lift home, and then she's like, come up. So I go upstairs, and yeah, like I had built up so much in my head from the time that we've been working together. Like I had created scenarios in my head about this moment, that when the moment came, it was like I was horrible.
What, you couldn't perform?
Or
Anticipation.
it was just a little bit too much for me, and I had to get out of there. So
Was it a 3-second deal, Chris?
I'm not going to say any more because I'm PG Chris Fade.
Fine.
But let's just say the next day in the office was the most awkward moments for me and for her, actually. And that was the moment where someone said, don't screw the crew, that I went, and this is why.
So you had performance anxiety. That happens.
It does. That does happen.
It really does. You build them into this whole thing, and
I was
then
in another world.
Yeah, I get it. I get
like,
it. And you've been dreaming about it for quite a long time,
Yeah.
and then you get there, and the moment's happening, and it just didn't go.
And
so
I asked
well.
for a second chance. She said
no.
it's okay.
No second chance. Oh, bless your little pee-pee.
Yeah, I felt. I remember that. It's fun times though, looking back at it. But don't ever screw the crew. There you go. That's the saying.
Do you remember the first time you ever had sex?
I do. Yep. I was.
I do too.
Do you really?
Oh, I mean, not well. I just remember thinking, why do people do this for fun?
So now you know.
Okay, now I know, yeah. Now, of course, I really know.
Do you ever see or know the individual anymore? Would you?
No. Actually, I saw him. I ran into... funnily enough, when I had my business, like 10 years, he contacted me. How long ago? Sort of like, I suppose 7, 8. He contacted me when I was working because he makes amazing things. He's really good with wood.
He's really good with wood, did you just say?
Yes.
Okay.
Sexy.
Hold on. Mel, if you're not going to go on anymore, thanks for that, by the way. Mel, let's just turn Mel's mic. Just press that stop button.
Melissa wants to
Because
throw
all the
that
sound effects are
microphone.
going to come through on that, actually. Like,
I also just do not want to be in a conversation.
just want to be on there. Okay, so he makes really good wood.
Really good wood things.
Yeah.
So anyway, he wanted to be on my website, so he contacted me, and I was like, oh my God. And actually, he made my desk. So yeah, totally random. I did see him again, but like, I mean, there's just nothing there.
Do you see anyone that you have been with that you still see that your husband knows?
Yeah,
Really?
absolutely.
And he's
Absolutely.
aware, and he knows?
Yeah, of course. My ex-boyfriend, who's married now with kids and like whatever, not his wife hates me, but we're all in the same circle. And
Why does his wife hate you?
God knows. I mean, she won, didn't she? You got him. You got 5 kids. I don't want him.
Yep.
And definitely, like, anyway, so yeah, he's in our circle of friends. I've always remained friendly. Like, I've never lost anyone out of my life that, actually, I lie. There was one guy when I was like, I guess 19. He did ask me to marry him. And then I went off to America, met another guy on the weekend and never came home. So that guy doesn't want to see me ever again.
19, I mean, you're asking someone to marry you at the age of 19?
Well, he was 6 years older than me. No, I was with him from that for about 5.
The average age of someone to get married in the UK for a male is 33.
Is it?
Yeah, and for a woman is 29. So
Well, that's gone up. When was that done?
I just looked at these studies just recently. Actually, we're looking at international, like for example, Pakistan average age for
12.
a man is 19 years old, and for a woman is like 18.
Stop it.
Yeah, no, really.
You see, it's so young. It's so wrong. They're just like too young. It's like, oh. I would tell my daughters, don't do it before 30 now. But you see, my mother was like, if you're 22 or 23, you were like going to be left. It was like horrifying. I've got a child that's left on the shelf. What do I do with
At the
her?
age of 23.
Before, yeah, she was like, she wanted me out the door and married to some banker type.
I'm happy. My first time was happy. I was happy with my first time because it was like with a girl that I ended up spending 8 years with, and like we nearly actually did get married at the age of like 24, 25, but that didn't happen. But I remember it was fine, and I was young. I was a kid. Like it's weird.
18 is not a kid.
Yeah, I was a little bit younger than 18.
I was about to say.
Yeah, I was
Is that
a
the
little bit
PG
younger.
Chris coming out
Yeah,
again?
yeah.
Okay, all
I was a
right.
little bit younger than that, but like, yeah, obviously back home in Australia. But yeah, I mean, we ended up staying together for like 8 years, and it was super cool. But at the same time, we nearly got married, but then we didn't because I don't know, she was wanting to get married, I think, and at that time I wasn't ready to get married, and I had only been with one person. And as a man, I think the same as a woman, sometimes you want to explore different things, and you want to,
It's very important.
I think
that
it's
you
very important
both
because it will
explore.
It will bite you. It will bite you later on
Later
in
in life.
So you may be married, and then you'll be like, "Oh, well, I never got to do this. I never got to do
Absolutely.
that." And then you're like, "You know what?"
That's why you need to rein in those like father ties that you have, like, and let your girls be the girls.
No, I'm always going to be. You know that scene in Bad Boys when Will Smith and Will Smith and Martin Lawrence get to the door. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
No.
Oh, the guy comes to pick up his daughter, and they rock up with shotguns and what are you doing? And I am 100% going to be that with any of my kids. First guy that comes over to my house, I've got the shirt off, I'm letting the hair out. I've done 100 push-ups just before they come.
You look scary with the
I'd be
hair
like,
out.
Oh, yeah.
You look like
No, I look crazy.
literally like a woman.
No. I'm letting his hair out.
Hello, it's Christine.
I'm going to tell him straight out. I'll put a tracker on him. They're not home by this time, and I got people everywhere. You watch out.
Oh my God, that's why your children will never be dating.
Has anyone come? Is it your eldest daughter? Is she?
No. Well, not that I know of. I mean, she
Exactly.
probably is. I don't know. She's 13, so I'm guessing it's starting now.
But does she hang out with little like their boys that they hang
Well-
out in their crew?
Yeah, there are, but they're all so sweet and they're petrified of me. And they just hang out. I make them leave all the doors open. And
Do you think Dubai kids are different to like?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I think it's just a little bit more,
Sheltered?
yeah, innocent.
Yeah, I mean, I think about the stuff when I was doing when I was 14, 15 in Australia. It's horrible. I look back now and think to myself what I was doing at the age of 14 and 15. And there was one of our friends, her parents allowed us to do whatever we wanted in the house. They would go get us alcohol and they would go get us whatever we needed. And they were always like, well, if you're going to do it, rather you do it in front of us and with us.
Yeah, that's my girlfriend. I have a girlfriend
But
that
I look
feels
back
the same
now
way.
and I think to myself, that's wrong.
I mean, my girlfriend feels the same way because she's like, her daughter specifically wants to drink a lot all the time. So she's like, I'd much rather it was in my house and I control it. And I'm kind of with her because she's going to do it. She is a wild child.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. And she's a beautiful, beautiful girl. And, you know, they are good parents. They're very, very stable family, beautiful family. But she's right in a way. Like, I mean, she cannot, like, this her daughter is a wild child. She wants to jump over the roof, you know, out of the house in the night. She probably will. So she'd rather say, okay, sit and have a drink with us or bring your friends here and we'll control it. So if there's an accident, God forbid, or anything goes wrong or they vomit or anything like that, they're in her house. She can call an ambulance. She's in control of it. She feels, you know, she's more secure. And I get that. You're not ultimately going to stop them.
No, I know. They're always going to do it. I know that they'll always do it. They'll always find a way of doing whatever they want to do.
So I think I'm going to be the same. I think I probably will say drink in my house. I think.
I don't know. No, I won't do that.
Okay, well, let's see where we end up. Your children will be at my house.
Yeah, I know. They'll be like, what are you doing there?
Go to Caroline's.
You don't go to Auntie Caroline's house ever.
Yeah, ever.
If she ever gives you anything, you say no.
Must say no. I don't know. Look, it's difficult. But I'm kind of with her. I was at the beginning. I was like, oh my God. But then I was thinking, these kids are so strong-willed. So strong-willed. You just cannot. You can't lock every window. You can't. You know. I mean, you're probably going to have a good go, but you just can't stop it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you want to hope that you brought up your kids the right way and they have their own judgment. But we all make dumb mistakes, and you're always going to do it. I remember the first time I got absolutely annihilated on alcohol. Like I'm not a drinker. I don't drink often. If I do drink,
Okay, but there you go. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's going to happen, by the way. And then what happens if you're not there?
No, I know.
So wouldn't you
yeah,
rather
you're right.
they got
I'd rather-
annihilated here, and you go, at least you
But,
can deal with it.
it's
Put her
funny,
in a shower and take care of her.
My girls are already my girls are young, but I've already sort of started to put in their head that alcohol and drugs and
Chris.
all
no,
that.
No one
like-
puts in their head that alcohol's good and drugs are amazing. No one's going to go and tell a
I'm trying
14-year-old
to
that. They're
scare
still the
them
same.
enough that
Don't
they'll
scare
never want to
them.
go near it.
Won't work. Won't work. Scaring children doesn't work.
No.
No, it has the opposite effect. And they're going to do it anyway, and that's my point. There's no point telling them they're the devil when they're going to go to school with a whole load of other kids that are saying they're great. So you may as well just say, look, when I did it and I got annihilated and I was throwing up and I was sick for 3 days, at least be the cool dad. I know that you are PG Chris, but at the same time, PG Chris has to you've had your wild side. You have to understand they're going to have it. They're going to have it. They're going to have it, Chris.
They're not going to have it.
They are.
They're not going to
They
have
are.
it.
They just are.
They're not going to have it.
They really are. You're in denial.
Everyone's nodding. Yep, they're going to have it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know if I'm ready for that. That's going to hurt.
No, you just have to get with the program.
Okay.
You have to get with the program.
All right.
I can't remember what we're talking about now.
We're talking about office relationships and
Oh,
stuff
how do
like
we
that.
get to that?
If you are in it, I mean, if you are in an office relationship, we got a few DMs. You sliding up in our DMs, which we're loving. Chris and Caroline, Kris and Caroline with a C.
Can they work? Has anyone got married at work?
Yeah, exactly. Send us if you're in a happy relationship right now. It's interesting where you see I used to work for a husband and wife couple. I used to work in a cafe back in the day in Sydney.
Skinny Confidential. They're amazing.
Oh yeah, they are
worked
amazing.
every day,
and
every
they're
day.
together.
Yeah.
It does work. I mean, I see a couple that's working together. Yeah, like the cafe they owned a cafe. They were in each other's faces, and it did work. But like they always say don't mix relationships and business together because it doesn't work. I've seen it end very poorly for people as well, where it started off all fine and then it just goes, you're in each other's faces way too much. So if you are going to start a relationship in the workplace, just know that you're in the workplace and then you left. Brianna, my fiance, she was actually my assistant for 3 years, and we had to pull the pin on her being my assistant because it was just too much. She was my assistant, so she was living Chris Fade's life for work. Everything had to do with Chris Fade, and then come home, it was
everything has to do with Chris
meet
Fade.
Chris Fade again, and we'd be just no matter what, we'd be out at dinner, we're still talking about work. It would never stop. So, and it was affecting the relationship, and we end up, making the decision saying,
I
okay,
did tell you that.
Yeah, you told me that.
I did tell you that.
No, I know.
I could think of nothing worse than working with my husband. Nothing worse. It's hard enough holding any relationship together, and especially in a world where Chris Fade is built on Chris Fade, Caroline Stanbury is built on Caroline Stanbury. So you have to take somebody into where your whole world is about that person, and our egos and our, I've got this magazine cover and I've got this billboard. They don't want to get on board that train, and you don't want them on board that train.
Yep. So true.
So I think it's the wisest decision you two could have made. You've just added another 10 years to your relationship. Well done, Chris.
So. What do you mean 10? Give me more than that.
50.
I'm not getting a divorce again.
I didn't say 10 years now. I said another 10 onto the current one that you would have had.
Statistically, the second time around for me is less. Like I have a 30% chance that this marriage is going to work. That's what they say.
30%?
Yeah. So like if you're getting married for the first time, you got a 50-50 chance of that sort of marriage working out. If you're going around the second time, it drops another 20.
See, I find that 30%. Really bizarre, because I would have thought you'd learnt from your mistakes and that you'd pick the one that you want. Not you personally, anyone.
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't believe that stat, because I now am in situations where, with Brianna, my fiance, that I've been in before, and it's like I've gone, don't do that, you idiot. Do this.
Yeah.
And I've worked what to do, or don't start arguments, or.
And wouldn't you look for different character traits than from your ex? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So you wouldn't gone for the same person. So I find that really bizarre, because I have girlfriends who, most of my friends are divorced, and they're all on the second time round. They look absolutely ecstatic. One of my girlfriends married her divorce lawyer just now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's horrible. Like the divorce lawyer.
Well, she was getting divorced before she met the lawyer, obviously. So is it that bad?
You're just so vulnerable going through a divorce. I've been there, and that's for me is not a rebound.
Well, they're
but
married.
You got how long have they been married for now?
Well, they just got married now.
How long were they together before they got married?
I actually a year. I don't know actually. Didn't know.
Not a long, huh? Not a long time.
No,
because the biggest thing with this being on have you ever been on a rebound? Have you? That rebound feeling, it is true. Like when you're out of a relationship,
you're desperate.
You're hurt, and you've lost what you liked.
No.
And you feel insecure. So when that next person comes along and gives you attention, you just grab it.
Yeah,
and the
but
next
you
thing
always
you know,
know
you're
the
with
next
it.
day. No, I don't think so. I've had long relationships and then had rebound sex.
Yep.
Which was so I had a long relationship with this guy that I almost married before Jam, and then of course went away with my girlfriends, found the first guy I could, had fun. And then you're like, okay, that to me is a rebound. I've never wanted the rebound to stay. And you're like, wake up in the morning and go, okay, that was a huge mistake because he was a rebound. But I don't think, I've never been in a rebound relationship.
I think I went into a rebound relationship after I was with a girl for 7 or 8 years. About 2.5 months later, I just met this girl and started a relationship. We lasted for 2.5 years.
That's a relationship.
Yeah, but it was a rebound. I should have never started that relationship.
It should have just been fun.
Yeah, it should have just been exactly that. But it was because I was I think I was longing for a connection with someone. I wanted that, and that girl was there, and it was probably my bad decision.
You were needy.
I'm very needy. I
Yeah.
like to be in but I'm a person that likes to be in.
So do I. And I think one of the greatest or the hardest tests for anyone is that alone time, to be okay with yourself on your own, especially with that inner voice we all have. And, I'm never going to meet anyone again, but we all do.
Yeah.
And like everybody's okay, and it's normally better. And, and that's my thing. And I think that these, from what I've seen, okay, look, some guys or women are serial marriers, they're like 3, 4, and I don't know how that happens. I only had one person ever want to really marry me.
Okay.
But I forgot what I was going to say.
No, but what you're saying is like a rebound, for example, is, they're there. A rebound is totally there. I've done it. You're saying that you haven't done it before. It was a one-night stand, but you knew that it wasn't going to go any further.
Yeah, always knew it wasn't going to go further. It was just for fun. I'd been in a 5-year relationship, so I was like, okay, I'm going off by myself. That was the only rebound thing I've never stayed with anyone I didn't want to stay with. I did at the no, that wasn't rebound. That's just like getting in a relationship and not being able to get out of it.
That's hard, being in relationships that you want to get out of, but you just don't know how to get out of it.
Especially when they live with you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's like the hardest.
It's hard, and I was in the relationship that I was in for a long time. I was in it because I was just comfortable, and I was like, oh man, I can't be bothered meeting other parents and making the connection again and meeting all the family, and I can't be bothered doing all that. Like I used to tell myself, just settle, and then I realized I became a bit of an asshole in the relationship
because you were angry.
Yeah, to the point where she was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And then when she said I'm out, I'm like, oh, I love you. I don't want you to go. I realized,
I did that too.
I'm an idiot. I just let a really good thing go.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I was like, I don't need you, and I never needed you. And then when he actually did say goodbye, I was like, what? Come back. But yeah, and he didn't. But look, that's also life lessons. You can't prepare yourself. You can't wrap yourself in cotton wool. You just have to, get ready for all of these things and prepare yourself. There are some places that you are better set to have relationships. There are some places that you're not. Like, in the workplace is probably not a great one. But actually, how nice would it be if you worked in a workplace and someone was working the floor behind you, down below
behind you,
below you.
Yeah,
that'd be quite fun.
It is cute.
You can have,
you get meet up.
Relations.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No, it is very cute. Well, if you are working and you are in a relationship and it's all good luck to you. But if you're not in one, my advice at the end of this is stay away, or leave your job and then try to make that relationship happen. Follow us on the gram. Slide up in the DMs. We love seeing you guys. Chris
and Caroline.
And Caroline, right? Chris.
Yeah, that's my name.
Chris and Caroline.
Yeah.
It's the Not So Epic podcast.
Thanks for being with us. We're done.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Spread the word. Keep spreading the word. We're getting a lot of messages. We find that and to be real with you, there's a momentum in this where we only started off, we've only been doing it for a couple of months, but
loving it.
I feel like the momentum's growing, getting more messages, more people are subscribing. So please tell your friends about us. Please subscribe, and thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
It's Chris Fade and Caroline Stanbury's Not So Epic podcast.
Brought to you by NMC Healthcare and Cosmisurge. Head to cosmisurge.com.